Shiny lights are great. We are basically fish.
Oni Stu, thank you for 96 months. Lamasti, thank you for the biddies. Exactly, Dork. And you don't want to wake up. Everything is fucked. Everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off. I'll stop.
Oh, there's cornbread in my arm.
Oh, yeah. I really liked that song for a couple of days back in 1990. Or was that later? Perhaps later, even. Dork! Thank you for 36 months. Spy is online. Ah. Spy, thank you for 111. Love to see 111.
I'm down with a green bean guillotine.
Whisper Dan, thank you for 65 months. I I have no idea of the context of so many of these things I apparently said. Thank you, Dork. It's, it's just one of those days when, you don't want to wake up. I didn't intend it to be accurate to the situation, but it is kind of. Nakomi's problem is digestive. My problem is I got done with work, and because I am old and decrepit and approaching my final days, I have this thing now where I get really fucking tired in the middle of the day. And I kicked back and fell asleep for, I don't even know. It was not a long period of time. It was like half an hour. But I fell asleep in my computer chair. I snapped awake. And it just ruined my life. That dice roll. That classic dice roll. Like, wow, this is the worst thing that ever happened to me. Briefly losing consciousness in my chair for approximately half an hour. So I was feeling like shit because of that. I intended to, I had a game plan for the day. I was going to whip ass at work and try to have a good Monday. And then I wanted to have a window of time between work and stream to where I could fuck around with game dev stuff. And then stream. But then that nap fucked that all up. Because while I had some time, I just felt like such shit that I couldn't do anything. I usually am a good sleeper, actually. Well, perhaps I just think that. Namiko.
Excuse me, shit, god damn it, fuck.
Thank you for the biddies. We actually kind of keep an insane schedule now that I think about it. Because, let's see. If we start from stream, which is also an insane time to start from, but like stream at 9, roughly. 3 hours of that. End stream. Nakomi and I usually stay up. We actually will have, most days we'll have late dinner after stream. And won't really roll into bed until maybe 2 or 3 sometimes. And then on a good night, I'll be out the moment my head hits the pillow. I fall asleep really easy. And then hopefully I'll sleep all the way through to my alarm, which is normally like 8:45. So what? You know. So roughly 6 or 7 hours of sleep most nights is what I get. And then the moment I get up, I make coffee, I get in the work chair, and I have my life siphoned out of me for, somewhere between 8 to 14 hours, depending on how the day goes. I don't think that 8 hours of sleep is actually the consensus anymore. I'm not sure. What does Harvard say? On average, how many hours? Blah, blah. For most healthy adults, guidelines suggest at least 7 hours of sleep. But these are general recommendations, not strict rules. Some people need less, some people need more. The quality matters as much as the amount of time. Poor sleep can increase daytime fatigue, make it difficult to enjoy life. I mean, that sounds like me. Many people are not going to sleep in their 50s and 60s exactly like they did in their 20s. I'm not there yet, but I feel like I am. So I'm just going to take that to mean me. I don't really ever have any nighttime awakenings. Worst case, what happens to me is if I wake up for some reason early, my stomach gets up to shit while I'm asleep, is what I've learned. And if I wake up early, I might wake up during the process of whatever it's fucking doing. What I'm saying here is, on rare occasions, I'll wake up at a stupid time, like 6 or 7 instead of when my alarm goes off. So then we're talking, I got maybe 3 or 4 or 5 hours of sleep, but I'll have like this acid reflux and I can't just go back to sleep once I'm awake with that. And then I have another conflict, which is if I wake up and leave the room, you would think, well, just come back after that settles and get some more sleep before the alarm, right? No. The littles do not allow this. Once I have got up, it's up time. And they will start like fucking wrestling or something. They're just up at that point, so I can't not just start my day because it'll then fuck up Nakomi's day. So I have to just continue with my day from, I guess, 6 o'clock then in that case. Yeah, Dave, you know, you don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet is stay away, motherfucker. It's just one of those days. And you know, it's really all about the he says, she says bullshit. And I think you better quit letting that shit slip. Or you'll be leaving with a fat lip. Also, I'm not a break stuff savant. I literally have the lyrics in front of me. Just ready to tab over whenever anybody starts saying the lyrics at me so I can jump in. Oh no, Dave, did you switch to another song? I'm not prepared for that. I only have the one tab open. Oh shit. Rolling, 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 rolling. God. Limp Bizkit is weird for me. Like I feel embarrassed to admit I ever liked it, but I have to admit that there was that little window of time where it was like, holy shit, this fucking band is wild. Oh, I don't now, but I did very briefly, and I'm man enough to admit it. Don't look at Daddy's tabs. Don't talk about Daddy's tabs. I never got into ICP, and I have to say the reason for that was that everybody that I knew who was into ICP was really fucking weird. I remain undecided as to whether it was weird in a good way. I remember this one dude who was at my school who had an ICP shirt, and it was something like, it was just an image of like a really long ball sack or something, I think. I'm great.
Well,
I'm very good.
well.
Akis, thank you for 75 months. Roland cover the Wonder Years Limp Bizkit Halloween set. Wars. Jesus Christ. New tab. Let's just see here. Is this going to be one of those ones where it's like a silly version? Halloween set, huh? Is he dressed as Fred Durst? He's got the fucking jacket and everything. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's great, man. Amazing. It's actually an earnest cover. I was expecting something that was going to be more ridiculous. There was something Sips shared today in one of the many discords. Yeah, this. I thought it was going to be along these lines. Which is really something to listen to. I'm gonna look up break stuff and see what happens to my brain. It really is. Beetlejuice Fanta. Yeah, that shit. That's weird. Weird, weird, weird. Really? What was the consensus, Dave? I've never seen it, and I have absolutely no idea of its contents. I just assume is essentially literally just footage of the tour. Oh, okay. Yeah, I imagine it's probably insane, right? Like Taylor Swift's one of the biggest stars right now, if not the biggest. I don't know. I don't know where she falls in terms of like compared to I don't know. I don't fucking know anything. I should shut my mouth. I was gonna say like Beyonce. I have no fucking idea. I did see that, yeah. There was like one real girl that had that like homemade shirt that said like Swifties for Trump, and then there was the AI army of duplicate girls with his little post that said I accept. I haven't been to a concert in a million years. Last one I went to was probably the Nine Inch Nails. I think it was the Ninja Tour. And I don't think it was Lights in the Sky. I don't think I got to do that. Yeah, that stuff is fascinating. Yeah, I'm sure it's like very exclusive equipment. The highest end. What's funny is the I assume you mean volume in terms of like amount and not sound levels. They start the concert and it just kills people with the decibels. Now the only like tour films that came to mind were uh Nine Inch Nails Closure, the Closure tapes, and the fucking Ninja Turtles Coming Out of Our Shells tour. I think those are the only ones I've actually watched in my life. No, I haven't. In that it shows them touring. Right, right, right. I'm looking it up. Never get tired. Nice. I'm gonna go ahead and admit, Dave, I've never even heard of Bomb the Music Industry. Love the name. I have like no musical overlap with you guys at all. I just watch sadly from the sidelines as you guys have this cool shared experience. As I wistfully wonder what that must be like. That's crazy, man. I run into two conflicts because actually I do check out a lot of the stuff that you guys talk about. I never comment on anything because I feel like I'm an outsider. And that's one of the problems. There's plenty of punk stuff that I've listened to. I'm like, I actually do like this. But then I don't really get into it further because I I have like no point of reference. And I think I'm kind of musically one-dimensional. Yeah, fair enough. I'll try to pipe up sometime. I feel like most of my musical tastes are things that, like, of my past, it's mainly Nine Inch Nails, and then a bunch of sort of edge case stuff that mostly became embarrassing to admit later. And I think when I was young, I just never met anybody cool. That's sort of a lot of my problem. and then uh and then I just kind of didn't really develop my musical tastes. Or I guess they just became really hyper specific. It's like indie stuff, a lot of game music soundtrack stuff. Yeah. Well, there's music is interesting because there's so many facets to it. And it seems like such a simple thing, but it's really wide and really deep. Like in my case, a lot of what influenced what I was drawn to had to do with near-term emotional states. And there's definitely a dominant through current in my life of depression and rejection and being an outsider and so on. Probably why I was like extremely drawn to Nine Inch Nails, because a lot of Trent's earlier stuff really speaks to those feelings. Provided me a lot of internal anthems to prop myself up during the day when I was tolerating or suffering other shit. But then a lot of the other things that I was drawn to, as I said, kind of ended up being became cringe to me pretty quickly. Like it felt like the right thing in the moment, and then like the shine wore off of it really fast. So I don't know. And then the other giant influence was growing up on video games. So I got really into chip tunes and whatever. So I feel like I missed out on a lot of other stuff. There's also I had the classical music training for a lot of my youth as well, which is more of a subtle or harder to pin down, like how that affects what I got into later. I definitely like harder stuff. Like taste wise, I really love layered industrial. I got into Aphex Twin for a while. So the really like noisier, grindier stuff that sounds like it's a recording of a factory. There's something I find really compelling about a song that sounds like it's a machine running. Yeah, no, I know it's called industrial. I guess. Yeah. But weirdly, I was not really able to get into. So, like, I tried to branch off of Nine Inch Nails into other industrial, and I didn't really like basically any other industrial. I don't know why that is. There was one that you guys were going through one time that I really fucking liked, and I fucking forgot who it was. The video, they were in a set that looked kind of like a mock living room. I wish I could remember anything else, but I forgot what their name was or anything. Well, this basement covet, this sounds like so grunge. This like feels like a major throwback instantaneously. That's wild. Kind of reminds me of like actually I'm afraid to say anything. I'm afraid to I'm afraid to make any comparisons. Actually, I can't pin it down. What is this reminding me of? I almost want to say Deftones, but Deftones has that drop D kind of corn sound thing. Yeah, it's not quite in that territory. Thank you, BFA. Thank you for being my human shield. Songs about the weather. Songs about the weather. Thank you for providing me a link, because when I searched for songs about the weather, it took me to a playlist of kids' songs about the weather. Give that a listen. I'm gonna check out Seedless Star here. This shit's making me just like go back through time. I like this. Yeah, I like this a lot, man. I actually really like ambient sort of, I don't know if that's a good description. Is that a good description? Sort of an ambient style where it's more, it's almost like a soundscape kind of. Yeah, textural, yeah. I mean, you are talking to somebody who like, I don't know how familiar any of you are all with Ghosts, the album that Nine Inch Nails put out, which is just entirely that for like 1 million songs. Ghosts is giant. There's 4 parts, and it's all just this ambient stuff that I would just listen to on repeat. Hick Ghostbusters. Yeah, Ghosts 1 through 4. Genre is dark ambient, apparently. Bending. Let me check this out. God. You know what this band really does to me is it reminds me of the fact that for like 15 years, I wanted nothing more than to just be involved in a project like this. I just had the really bad luck of never ever meeting anybody that I clicked with or having any sort of close cohorts to conspire with, you know. Just I used to just play my guitar every day. It would be how I would go to sleep. I would just fucking be noodling around on the guitar, fucking around, and then I usually would sit on the edge of my bed while I did that, and then I'd start to lean back, still playing around, and then I would just sort of fall asleep with my guitar in my lap. And then now I just haven't even touched the guitar for a number of years. I just never found anybody, man. I did stuff like fucking I would look up like classifieds of people looking to start a band, and I actually went to a number of those. Just basically I would just meet random people in an apartment and they would have their shit all set up, but it just never clicked. I really like this track, man. Bending, it's really good. That one fucking track from your album, Dave. I have that in my head very frequently. Big head mode. I loved that song. It's so good. I also love the video. I feel like that was so fucking well done. That's another similar thing, Dim, where it's like I actually said this to Justin. I was like, I feel like if I were to get into it now, having never been into it, it's just like I would just feel like an invader. I am wired to like separate myself, man. It's deeply ingrained, dude, where it's like if I just immediately do this thing where I'm like, well, everybody else is like super genuinely into this stuff, and I don't want to like harsh that vibe by being this weird joiner. But then that does mean that I am always, or I guess I should say never, involved in anything. Well, I missed it, man. I just didn't have any friends that were into it when it came out, and I knew it was a thing, but I never had a friend who was into it. So then I just didn't get into it myself, and time passed on. I know, but they're way into it. I'll try to fight the way I am. The other thing, Dave, is it's not just that, I will say. Just in case I don't jump in. The other reason is that it's most of the reason I'm not around is just that like my schedule doesn't work with anybody's schedule at all. Like most of the time I see you guys doing, your offline magic stuff. That's during my stream time, so I'm streaming. And then during the day I have my fucking job. So it's just never a good time. Very unfortunate. A weekend would hopefully work sometime for sure. Yeah. One of the things with stream a day has been that like my days are full the fuck up. I basically roll out of bed, go to work, I roll out of work, go to stream, I roll out of stream into bed. Well, or hang out with Nakomi and then go to bed. There's been plenty of times where I've been like, since I started having a day job again, where I've been like, maybe this is bad actually. Maybe this isn't a good thing. Yeah. Anywho, for now I need to head out. The littles are getting quite anxious with me. Yeah, I will, man. And yeah, that's exactly like I don't allow myself any decompression. I think that's why I have these nights sometimes where I just do basically a phone it in stream because like I just shit just piles up. It just does. I will do my best. But thanks for hanging out, y'all. I hope you have a good night. And I will hopefully see y'all tomorrow. Yes, yes. Bark, bark. Bark, bark.